All right, we're about to dive into the mind of one of trading's most legendary and, let's be honest, mysterious figures, D Gann. We're talking about a guy from the early 1900s who claimed he found a hidden order, a kind of secret geometry, behind all the chaos of the financial markets. And believe it or not, his ideas are still making waves today.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. As modern trader Tim Walker points out, these methods, cooked up over 100 years ago, are still relevant. So, that's the big question, isn't it? Why? What on earth did this man figure out to give his work such incredible staying power?
So let's start with the man himself. To really get Gann, you have to see him as more than just some guy playing the stocks. He was a market theorist, almost a philosopher, really. He was hunting for these universal laws of cause and effect that he was convinced were hiding right there in the ticker tape.
At the absolute heart of everything he did is this one pretty radical idea. Markets are not random. He completely rejected the idea of a random walk. He believed they move based on predictable, mathematical, and cyclical patterns. For him, the future was just a repetition of the past, if you knew how to look for it.
Okay, so let's get into that philosophy. This is where we see a total break from how most people think about the market, both back then and even today. It's a fundamentally different way of looking at what actually moves prices.
Now, this slide right here, this is everything. On the left, you've got your conventional analysis, all the stuff we hear about constantly, news, earnings reports, fundamentals. Gann looked at all that and basically said, that's just noise. On the right, you have his world. He argued that everything you truly need to know is already baked into the chart, in the relationship between price, time, patterns, and geometry. The real signal is in the chart itself.
And this quote just nails his point, doesn't it? Gann was famous for these incredibly detailed, hand-drawn charts. He believed that if you could just learn to read the picture of the market the right way, you wouldn't need to read anything else. The chart told the entire story.
And check this out. What a stunning example. This is one of Gann's permanent charts. It's not just a price chart. It's like a geometric map of time itself. He would spend countless hours meticulously plotting years, even decades of data against very specific angles, all in the hunt for those massive, history-making turning points in the market.
This brings us to Gann's most famous, and yeah, let's be honest, his most intimidating tool, the square of 9. I know, it looks incredibly complex, but the idea at its core is surprisingly straightforward. So let's break it down together. So what is this thing really? Well, at its heart, the square of the 9 is kind of like a mystical calculator. It's a way to take a stock's price and turn it into a specific degree on a 360-degree circle. Now, why would you do that? Because Gann believed that once a price was converted to an angle, you could use simple geometry to project future support and resistance levels with, well, uncanny precision.
Okay, so how does it actually work? It really just boils down to these 4 steps. First, you find a really important price, a major high or low. You take the square root of that price. Simple enough. Second, you either add or subtract a specific number that represents a geometric angle. We'll show you an example in just a second. Third, you take that new number, and fourth, you square it. And that final number, according to Gann, is your next predicted price level.
Let's make this real with some numbers. Say a stock hits a huge low at $64. Okay, the square root of 64 is 8. Now, if we want to find the next key resistance level, which is 90 degrees away on the circle, we add 0.5 to that root. So why 0.5? Well, in Gann's system, a full 360-degree rotation is an increment of 2, so a quarter turn, or 90 degrees, is just 0.5. That gives us 8.5. You square that number, and boom, you get $72.25. Just like that, Gann's theory says that $72.25 is now a critical price level you have to watch.
But here's the thing. You don't need to be a math wizard or some kind of mystic to apply Gann's core philosophy. The real takeaway from a tool like the square of 9 isn't just the formula. It's the mindset behind it. A disciplined, almost obsessive focus on what the market is actually doing, not what the news headlines say it should be doing.
And these are principles you'll hear from professional traders everywhere. Master your own psychology. Wait for those A-plus setups. Realize that sometimes sitting on your hands and doing nothing is the most profitable trade you can make. And above all, learn to trust what the chart is telling you over the panic or the hype in the headlines.
Trader Tim Walker really just sums it all up perfectly here. After getting burned by reacting to news, he realized the most reliable signal was right there in the price action. It's a lesson that echoes directly from Gann's work almost 100 years ago. So, when you strip it all away, what is the ultimate legacy of D Gann? It's really not about finding some magic formula that predicts every single market turn. No, it's something much deeper than that.
Gann's real gift to us was offering a completely different lens to view the market through. He challenged everyone to stop seeing it as a chaotic mess and instead to see it as an intricate, structured system that's governed by natural laws, a world of harmony and cycles and geometric precision hiding in plain sight.
And maybe this final piece of advice really captures the spirit of Gann's approach best. It doesn't matter if you use his methods or not. The market demands discipline, it demands study, and it demands a professional mindset. Amateurs trade on hope and fear, professionals trade on a plan they've tested and proven.
So really, it leaves us with this fascinating question to think about. Gann spent his entire life absolutely convinced of a hidden order. Now, whether you agree with him or not, his work forces you to look at the charts and ask yourself, what patterns am I missing?